I'm Melissa, this is Martin, Haley, and Maddie, and we're cruising America's Great Loop on our boat Cavalier. We welcome you to hop aboard and share in this journey with us.
Welcome back to another episode of Cruising Cavaliers. As you can notice, we are not on the boat. So we are actually in Stuart, Florida, and we had the boat hauled for repairs. So that's what this episode is going to be about. So when we last left, we were in Sunset Bay Marina, and we stayed there just for one night, and we got up the next morning and took the boat down to Port Salerno, which was only about 10 miles. We did have to go through a few bridges, and it was kind of interesting. The first two bridges, there was a drawbridge and then a railroad bridge. And the railroad bridge was down and they couldn't lift it for some reason. So they couldn't open the other bridge because they were like one right after another. So we had to kind of putt around Sunset Bay for, oh God, a good 45 minutes or whatever, waiting for them to be able to open up the bridge. So they finally did, and we got through it and got down to Port Salerno, which is kind of neat. It's a little, just a little bit further south, but it's kind of a neat little harbor, really busy. I mean, there was a lot of boats going everywhere. There's a bunch of marinas in there, and restaurants and stuff like that. So it was pretty neat. But again, our purpose to go down there was to get hauled. So we were going to Hinkley Yacht Services, and we got there, and the plan was for them to tie us up to one of their docks or slips or something that night, and then the next morning we were going to get hauled. So we got there, and they had a bunch of people helping us, luckily, because it was where they wanted to put us was on a dock, and it was a pretty good stiff breeze pushing us away from the dock. And the dock was kind of a weird situation where there was like two pylons and in the dock, so we couldn't even get within 3 feet of the dock, no matter what we did. So we had a hard time getting tied up there. And luckily there was a half dozen guys there trying to catch lines, so Melissa's trying to foam lines, and we're trying to maneuver the boat. And it wasn't really that pretty, but we got it there, and I finally got a line on it that I could use the boat then, the motor, to pull it back in. So it was pretty good. But then they had to tie us up because we couldn't get off the boat, and they had to hook up our electrical and everything like that. So we were sitting there going, well, it's okay, we'll just spend the night on the boat, and it'll be fine. We're thinking the dogs are not going to be happy with it, but it's what it is. And then I'm thinking, what the heck am I thinking? We have a dinghy. The dinghy's available. We can just splash the dinghy and go. So that's what we did. Doggies like that, and they got to go. They got to go in and do their businesses in the marina. And after that, we were talking to one of the guys there, and he suggested we take them for a walk over to this little area, residential area, and he said there was some big turtles over there, and you'll see them. So which we did. We walked over there, and these turtles.
We're thinking big turtles.
Yeah. Huge. I think they were actually tortoises. I'm not sure they were really turtles.
I don't know the difference.
But they came up, and everything else. It was kind of funny because their sign up there had them. It said Seabiscuit and Secretariat. And I didn't get it right at first, but obviously racehorses and tortoises. Okay. But they were cool, and we actually tried to video them, but I think we somehow lost it.
Yeah, I lost it. But we went by again, and they must have been asleep or something. But the neighbor across the street had a big one that was out. So I got a little video of that one. It wasn't quite as big as the other two, but I don't know. I guess it's tortoise area neighborhood.
Yeah. That was good. So then we got back on and got back on the dinghy and decided to tool around the little Port Salerno a little bit, and we ended up going across the way and to this tied up the dinghy and walked up to this restaurant and had a good meal and had beers there and everything else, and had a kind of a late or early dinner, and we actually met another looper there, right?
Yeah, it was a looper that we had met in Apalachicola, and Mark's like, I think I know that guy. And so we go on Nebo and look it up, and it's like, oh yeah, we met them in Apalachicola. So we talked to the guy anyways for a little bit, but then they were staying at the marina there.
Across the way.
And so we never did hook up again with them because we're not staying there. We're actually staying here at Harbor Inn Marina and Harbor Inn and Marina. And we're not staying at the marina, we're staying at the inn this time. But you can't see it right here because the light doesn't work right for video, but there's the marinas right here, our room's over there, so we have this nice little area we can hang out in. This is a restaurant that has been closed for a few years, so that's kind of sad. But it's a little area where even the local people that live around here just kind of come and hang out, watch the sunset.
Yeah.
So we've gotten to talk to a lot of the locals, which has been a lot of fun.
Yeah. So anyhow, so we stayed there the night at Port Salerno. They got up in the morning. They actually had to come down and untie us again because again we couldn't get off the boat. So they untied us with the electrical, and then I took the boat around, had to take it out, back out, and come back around to where the travel lift was. And that went without incident. And then it's kind of interesting the way they lift the boat. There's these big travel lifts that have straps that go under the boat to lift the boat up. So you pull the boat in, and then they pick it up. And it's kind of interesting because the way to get you off the boat is they pull it forward and hang your bowsprit over the concrete, and you step off.
Just step off.
Yeah. And so Melissa's handing them stuff.
Handed my backpack, and then I handed another guy. There was tons of people there to help us. And another guy, Haley, and I helped another guy, Maddie, and we got off. But,
it was kind of interesting. So we got some footage of that and taking it off and everything else. And the main reason we're having the main repairs we're doing is to the props. We damaged them a little bit, the props and the shafts. So we're having those things pulled. So that's pretty much it. They cook you up, they take you back up in the yard and put you on stilts basically on the boat. So we can get on and off the boat, but we really can't stay on the boat. We could stay a little bit on the boat, but it's pretty warm. We have power hooked up, but there's no air conditioning because for the air conditioning to work, it's got to be in the water, pumping water, circulating water through it. So
there's just been a heat spell here too. So
it's been really hot here, really warm. So, but it's been nice. It's really nice over here. We've been enjoying the sunsets and everything else. So I think that's about it.
Do you want to talk about your toys?
Oh yeah. We could. We also, while we're here, we decided to order a bunch of stuff for the boat that we've been wanting to order because it's a good place to get it shipped to. We're going to be here long enough to where to get it shipped. So we bought a couple of bikes, and they're folding bikes. We were originally going to get e-bikes, but with all the stories going around about fires and stuff, we just didn't think it was a good thing on a bike to have on a boat.
And I know there's a lot of boaters that love their e-bikes, and we don't have anything against e-bikes. We actually really wanted them, but we didn't want a chance of being on the boat catching on fire. So we figured we need to exercise anyway.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
We went with
I know
bikes.
I do. That's for sure. Yeah, so the bikes are full, and they're, like I said, they're folding. They're light enough weight to where we can you can take them on a dinghy, and it's just going to be really nice because it's going to extend our reach when we're in at a marina or even at an anchorage. We can come in and go further. So that's pretty cool. And then I also one of the things we haven't done is when we were at anchor with this boat, the original configuration had 50 foot of chain and 200 foot of rope. And the problem with that is our boat swings around a lot on anchor, so it really kind of moves around. It doesn't drag, but it just pivots back and kind of, they call it sailing. And it's because I think it's because there's so much elasticity in that much rope. So we decided to go to an all-chain road. So that's what we had. We now have 250 feet of chain instead of the combination. But when you do that, you have to have something to absorb the shock. So we've got a Mantis bridle system, and what it does is there's two lines that hook to the front two cleats on the boat, and then one of them, then they go to one line and it grabs onto the chain. So what you do is you deploy your stuff normally, then you hook up the bridle, and the bridle system is taking all the strain. The chain is actually loose at that point. So it should hold you better, and then the chain will drag too. So that's kind of a nice little upgrade we're putting on the boat. Yeah.
They're still doing some rope at the very end in case you need to cut it, right?
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, no, they still have you always still want a little piece of the last bitter end of that to have a little rope on it, so that if something really were to happen, if you need to drop your anchor and get rid of it, you can cut that rope and be done with it. So yeah, that's the way it's set up. And then the other thing I got, the other real fun toy, is I got a drone. So I got a Mavic DJI Mini 2 drone. It's a really neat little drone. It's got a really nice camera on it, and it's pretty lightweight, but it holds up into the wind pretty good. and the footage of it is pretty amazing for such a little camera and stuff. So we've been taking some shots out here. I think you'll see some of our shots at sunset and stuff like that. And we'll start, baby steps, using it. You'll see probably the first ones are kind of herky-jerky and learning how to fly it a little smoother. So we'll get better as we go, but it's going to be a fun toy to use. So that we got another tablet, and I got some things to mount them up on the helm better, and just a lot of little things. Yeah, we'll probably maybe bring some of the other little things out, but that's pretty much it. So anyhow, thanks for coming along, and we'll have further updates on what we're doing and stuff in other episodes. So thanks for coming along. Cheers. Happy trails.
Birds are going nuts out here today.
So you can see here, these are the props that we're having pulled to be worked on. You can see that they're a little curled on the ends where we hit something hard, so they'll have to straighten those all out and clean them all up, and then we'll get them put back on, and it'll all be good. And these are the other props, and you can see they're in pretty good shape. They'll get all cleaned up and pulled off and put back on, but it looks pretty good.